this is it. This is the podcast I've been waiting for. When someone originally suggested him on my Instagram story, I thought there was no chance in hell he was even going to see this. But this is it. The Eric Sim podcast. I cannot wait for you guys to hear what he has to say. He's a fantastic guest, and he is exactly what you guys see on Twitter. If you have not yet followed him on Twitter and Instagram and followed along his journey, please, I encourage you to do so. He is the absolute, unadulterated, just blunt version of what minor league baseball life is like. He's the man. And I can't thank him enough for coming on this. I've said thanks to him like 800 times, but I'm going to keep on saying it because it was so cool just to talk to him. I encourage you to go check out all of his pages. He's fantastic. I also encourage you to follow all of the pages for this podcast. On Twitter, you can find me at MILBTake. On Instagram, you can find me at the MILBTake. You can also follow my personal accounts as well, Brad_Queso, exactly how it's spelled. This has been a cool. It was a really cool podcast. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. And I also want to remind you guys to go check out the book, Reaching Home Plate. I've talked about it on here a couple times already, but if you haven't checked it out yet, please go take a look at it. You can use promo code QUESO to get a discount. And then there's also CB Supplements is selling a new collagen, which is an amazing product that I've really enjoyed using. You can use the promo code BRADCASE, all one word. But yeah, let's get into the podcast. I really hope you guys enjoy it. And kids, make sure you ask your parents if you listen to this first, right? What's up, Eric Sim? This is the king of JUCO, the king of minor league baseball, the king of all of fucking baseball. How you doing today?
Appreciate it. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, dude. If anyone that doesn't know you, hasn't gotten to know you yet, go find him on Twitter, on Instagram. He's fantastic. Project 95 or Die has been one of the coolest things to watch over quarantine. What initially started that for you? What was the the jump starter? Like, fuck it, I'm throwing 95.
I was kind of doing my own training by myself, and I'm a bar manager now, and so I needed a hobby, right? So something away from work, because work was consuming a lot of my time, and my efforts. So I was like, all right, fuck, I'm just gonna go throw, and I played 6 years in the minors, and then as soon as I got done with it, I was broke, so I'm like, fuck, I just want to get a job and make money right away, and I ended up doing that, and so and when I got a new job, like for 2 or 3 years, or about 3 years, I didn't touch a baseball. I didn't go to the gym or nothing, so I just got fat and just useless. And then fucking, I needed to do something, So first day, I remember I went to go throw in a local park, man. I live in Canada too; it's out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I went to go to some shitty local park, and fucking, and I got my pocket radar, which measures my radar gun, and then I hit 77 on the mound, and I was like, holy fuck, that's fucking terrible. So I was like, I gotta clean it up, and actually it was a good motivation for me, and I had something to look forward to for the next time, you know what I'm saying? Because at the time, like, my life was very mundane, like everything was very like same old stuff, right? Because I wake up, work, come home. Exactly, yeah. Everything was very same, and that really kind of gave me like a little bit of fire, a little bit of something to look forward to the next day, and it was awesome. And so I was kind of doing my own training. I got up to like mid 80s, man, like just training by myself for about a year and a half or so. And then Mike, CEO from Driveline, he called me because obviously I'm close with the Driveline crew because I trained there before as well. Hit me up. He's like, hey, like whatever you're doing right now, like, you're a fucking idiot, because I'm like lifting heavy every single day. Like, I'm maxing out, dude. Like, I'll be maxing out on a squat one day, and the next day I'm like overhead pressing like 235 pounds. It's like, what are you doing? Like, that ain't gonna help you throw gas. I'm like, all right, let's actually get on a program. So he hooked me up with Dean Jackson, who I knew before. He's my boy. So he's like, hey, get on with him. And Dean's very smart, so he'll get you on the right program and stuff like that. And let's actually try to set up a very tough goal. He's like, what would be a tough goal for you? I'm like, well, if I can get up to throwing 95, that'd be fucking incredible, because throwing 95 is no joke. Either way, right?
Dude, so, it's something I've done once in my life, and I'm jealous as hell. And I sent you that message saying, like, I'm either hitting 95 next year or I'm quitting baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I remember. Yeah, no, again, so I was like, dude, like, let's find something incredibly hard to get. And, I was at mid 80s, right? So, so I knew it was going to be, like, I wasn't even sure when I was going to get it, but I kind of had it back in my mind because I know how to work hard. And I know if I get on the right program and stuff like that, I know I can do that, because I know I'm going to put in the work. And I ended up doing it. So, yeah.
Dude, it's been sick to watch. It's been really cool. And you definitely have huge motivation for a lot of guys. But something that you just said earlier, like the mundane life of just waking up, going to work, stuff like that. I'm like missing baseball more and more these days, like crazy. It's been, I think, 15 months since I've played a baseball game because, we obviously lost this whole year with the pandemic and everything. So I'm right there with you. Today I was kind of just out of it, trying to find a way to get through the day, dying for some more baseball. But
For sure.
yeah. So actually, all right. So a big question I ask everybody is when you were, so you came here from Korea, you were in Canada, and then you went to JUCO and it ended up at USF. What point in time was it that you went from like, oh, if I got drafted, it'd be really cool to when I get drafted? Like, what was the moment where you were like, oh shit, like I'm going to do this?
Yes. Awesome question. Every kid wants to play pro ball, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. We all want to.
Everybody want to, but everything's very like, you want to, it's like a fucking dream, like it's not something you're never close to it. And for me, like I grew up, like you said, like I grew up in South Korea. Playing in the major leagues or anything like that extent was like not even like in my head,
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in Canada, like I'm from a small town in Canada, and so nobody around me even like got drafted. Nobody around me went to even like schools down south, really, like so. And I was like one of the, not the first ones to go down south, but like I was one of the very few from my area to go down south, like to college in the States and stuff like that, right? Not many kids tend to get a chance to do that from Canada, right? So, and it did that. And again, everything was obviously you want to play pro ball at some point, but everything was very just like a dream, it's like right here, and I'm down here. And it became a reality at USF when I actually went to USF because. And I'm not saying I got better at it or anything like that. I just was able to showcase myself a little more. And there were scouts to watch. You go to Division I school or whatever, you're going to have scouts even at your fall ball game, like, so people are watching and they're like, who the hell is this kid? JUCO from Kansas, right? Like, who the fuck is this kid? And I was a fucking catcher. I was throwing out everybody, man. I had a good arm behind the plate.
Dude, yeah, I've seen the videos of you. You had a fucking cannon.
Yeah, I had a good arm behind the plate, and I was kind of known for that, but, like, nobody knew it, like, because, like, when I was in JUCO, like, everyone knew me by that, but, I mean, we're in Kansas. No one's going to go fucking watch me throw, like, throw two guys out.
No one's going to go find you in a cornfield, exactly. Yeah.
Right, yeah, they're not going to do that. So I went out to USF. It really blew up. Like, in fall ball, I killed it. Like, I hit, like, fucking 370, which, like, fall ball at D1 is, like, a pretty big deal, right? So like it's more than like a fall ball in JUCO. Fall ball in JUCO, like we're just basically just like competing. Fall ball in like in D1 or D2, like any good like.
I was gonna say I'm a D2 guy.
There are many scouts watch.
I'm a D2 guy from Florida, and we had like nothing. We were a little different. My school was really bad at baseball.
Really?
Yeah, but we were in that conference, that SSC conference with Tampa and all them. So it's good. They're good baseball.
Yeah, because I remember Tampa. No, I remember Tampa. They were fucking awesome. So that year I got drafted at USF. We're both in Tampa. Us, USF, and University of Tampa.
I know what you're going to say,
in the same area. And they actually had more guys drafted than us, and they're D2. That's something I say all the time. Like, hey, it doesn't matter what fucking divisions you go to. They're good. Like, obviously, scouts didn't think we're better. They had higher draft picks, and they had more draft picks, So if you go to a good team, man, it doesn't matter, like, fucking NAIA teams, D2s, whatever, JUCOs. They're fucking studs everywhere,
Exactly.
So.
Actually, it's funny. So I remember one time you did tweet out, like, look at how many drafts we had at USF and how many drafts Tampa had, and they were D2. One of the names on there is Carmine Giardina, who's my agent now. So, like, I remember seeing it being like, oh, shit, there's Carmine. Yeah, so that was a tweet from a while ago, too, but I remember seeing that.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think I tweeted that before I got suspended or whatever. That's my third account.
Yeah, I know. You've been suspended a couple of times, which is ridiculous. I don't even know. What was it for? Just saying obscene shit?
Just dumb shit. Obviously, I'm not really afraid to speak out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think the first time I got suspended, that was, remember, what was it? Like Joe Madden was got a job to the Angels. Okay. Like the manager, right? So
I know.
He got a job to the Angels. Yeah. And then all I said was, or somebody said like, oh, because Joe Madden's big time like bunting guy and shit like that. I'm just like, hey, like if you make Mike Trout bunt, I will kill you. That's all I said. And then like my account got fucking suspended. I'm like, what? I'm not gonna actually kill him. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh my God.
You know? Like, it's just figure of speech type shit, you know. But yeah, I got suspended after that. Like, fuck me. And then the second time I got suspended was I said MLB was doing something like, you know, all the fucking Manfred and all that shit, and I was talking shit. And then I just said, fuck you at MLB, and I tagged MLB, and then I got suspended like that. So I was like, fuck. It's just like, God. So yeah, this is my second.
Yeah. Since I've been drafted, like I started doing my own research and learning more and more about just Major League Baseball and its history and like all the inner workings and shit like that. Right. And you talk a lot about, you know, how little like me and my teammates are getting paid these days. But there's a whole laundry list of problems with baseball. What's probably for you? What's like the biggest thing that like Major League Baseball needs to work on going forward? You think?
Again, I'm a big. I mean, like you said, there are problems everywhere, right? Yeah. And the leadership's not there right now. And but the only thing, like again, I care for you guys, you know, because I've been there. I was a 27th round pick. I was a nobody. For 15,000, you know, that shit was gone in 2 years. You know, I ended up playing 6 years, right? So I had to get a job every off season, just fucking, you know, just trying to survive, really. And then when I got done playing professional baseball, I was playing professional baseball for 6 years. After 6 years, I had $500 left in my bank account. You know, so I was broke. Like I was literally broke after playing. I got drafted to be there. You know, like I was better. Like I'm not saying I was better than. But I was there for a reason. Like I got drafted, you know. I'm like, I should not be like, you guys should not be going through what I went through. And just because it was shitty for me, that I don't think it's very fair for you guys to go through that shit. So I think for me, the biggest thing I advocate for will be simply pay. You know, like you gotta pay the minor leaguers because you know you're investing in them, and you know, and every big leaguers are minor leaguers at some point. You know, every one of them. You know, so there's no reason not to spend money on development, and they're only gonna get more out of it by investing more on you guys. Does that make sense? Because you guys will, you know, there'll be more big leaguers or whatever. You know, you guys will get better baseball.
It's gonna, it's gonna overall raise the quality.
Like it's exactly. And I'm not saying, man, like I'm not saying pay all these minor leaguers or nobody's $100K. I'm not saying that. I'm literally saying minimum wage 25, 30K, so they can even like have a family, you know, and then still play baseball or whatnot, right? Because I've seen a lot of my friends that were starting a family. I'm sure you've seen your cases too. You know, it's very tough, you know, when you're trying to kids or, you know, we got a wife and, you know, it's already tough, you know, moving away from them for the season or whatnot. But when you're also not getting paid shit, you know, they're going through a lot of bullshit, right? So I don't think it's very fair to be playing professional baseball in a business that, you know, that record like the last year they put up a revenue of record revenue of $10.3 billion, 10.7.
Just
like that, like
insane
there's
amount.
No reason for that size of business to treat you guys like that, right? So it's just not. Again, minimum wage exists for a reason, right? And it exists for a reason, and I think you guys should be honored to that as well.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball has found the loophole to get us out of that, and to just, which is just another problem.
Yeah. You know. Again, for them, it's money, and I get that to a certain extent. I get it, you know, but there's no fucking reason for you guys to get paid fucking, you know, $5,000 like the entire year, you know, fucking in low way, you know, they treat it like shit. Like I've done it. Like I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want you guys doing that. You know, it's bullshit. You know, like,
absolutely. So. Yeah, and I do feel a little guilty when I complain about stuff like that because I was fortunate and I got to sign for a good amount of money, and I've done my best to like save that money and invest it and try to, you know, take care of it that way. But still, like there's other guys, like mostly the senior signs are the ones that I'm more concerned about because like they get signed for literally a plane ticket and like $1,000, and they deserve so much more because those are some of the most talented guys I've played with.
Yeah, and again, senior signs, free agent signs, like all these guys, man, low round picks. Like I mean, fuck, you know, I've seen like top 10 rounds even. You know, they're seniors and they have no leverage, right? So they sign for $10K. You know, 4th round pick, $10K, like just because they're senior signs. So there's a lot of leeways that they use, MLB uses, but there's no leeway for you guys, right? So that's why, again, I try to advocate for you guys as much as I can, try to help you guys. But I mean, obviously, I'm just a one person, you know, it's not like I have a big company or anything like that. I just, you know, it's still bullshit. So I'm just going to keep trashing on them until hopefully somebody listens.
And we love you for it, Sim. We love you for it. To pivot though a little bit right now, so like you said, you came up as a catcher originally, and now you're doing Project 95 or Die, which is, you're a pitcher. At one point in your career, you made that flip. What was the biggest catalyst, and like how did the Giants kind of approach you with that?
I didn't really have any other choice, man. To be honest, I was catcher all my life. I was catcher all my life. I never played any other positions. And then yeah, I really had no choice. Like I was hitting I was at the time I was 24 in low A, and I was just backing up. And you don't want to be 24 backing up in low A. It's just not something you want to do. And our pitching coach was like, and I was like, platoon, you should be starting, but I wasn't because I couldn't hit worth shit. So his pitching coach is like, hey, like you want to try pitching? I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna do that shit. Like I'd rather be done. He's like, hey, you're literally gonna be done or pitch. I was like, okay, well, let's try pitching. All right, like I don't want to go home yet. So
you're like, all right, I'll get over there real quick.
I don't want to go home yet, So I was like, all right, let's try this. Like I showed up like hungover one day. I threw out like a bullpen for him or whatever, and then he's like, well, you're gonna pitch 2 days or after that or some shit. Like I'm like, you're actually gonna put me in a game? Like I was in Augusta, Georgia, low A.
Yeah, we played there last year. It was a good spot.
Well,
back then, all right. Well, it's a new stadium. I'm thinking about It's a new stadium.
The one fucking I was at, that place shitty, man. That shit sucked. No, the new one's awesome. But anyways,
it was cool.
So we're playing in Charleston, and then he's like, just go pitch, have fun. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I went up there. I got up to 92. So they're like, well, come back to instruct as a pitcher. I was like, fuck. So that was my fourth instructional league. I was like, motherfucking everybody else was like, no instructs. Like I don't want to do a fucking instructs for like one or two is okay, but like no one wants to do that shit 4 times, But anyways, I did that. And then yeah, man, again, first time pitching, So and I was 24, 25, turning 25, so pretty fucking old, So and then I was like, like going through a lot of shit. Like I've never pitched before. They're like, telling me all these million different things. I was throwing like 87 to 89, topping like 91, 92. And I was like, dude, this shit ain't going to work. So I went to Driveline that off season, and I'm like, hey, like I met Kyle Bodie, who is the founder. And he's like, hey, I talked to him for like a couple minutes. I was sold right away. And just like, dude, let's give me whatever you got. I trained there. And then I got up to 96 next year. And I got up to 97 the year after. And I got released by the Giants, which is fine. Like I'm fine with that. They actually gave me all the shit I needed. But like it's not like I pitched bad. I put up a 2.5 at a short season, as a first year pitching basically. So not bad, but again, I just wasn't throwing hard enough. Like I was topping out like 96, but like I was sitting like mostly 92, 94. And right-handed reliever, it's tough.
Typically they want to see that higher velos, but I mean, like by the numbers, like you pitched good. Like I'm looking at it right now. Like where the hell did it go? Yeah, like 280 array. Like I'd be pumped with that.
Yeah, no, I actually put up decent numbers. Yeah, but again, like for me, like you know how the Pro Bowl goes, right? It's not necessarily about numbers, especially if you're like a round pick or whatnot, right? So for me, I just wasn't like 92, 94 wasn't cutting it as a right-handed reliever. I was 25. I was old too, right? So, and I completely understood where they came from, but I have no regrets because I did what I can to revamp myself from throwing 87, 89 to revamp to 92 to 94, and I still pitched okay in short season, but and after that I got released and I played a little bit of indie ball, and then after that I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm fucking 27. I'm broke. Like I don't want to do this shit anymore. I want to be home, like, or somewhere that I can, call it home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't want
instead of just moving place to place. Yeah.
Exactly. Without my I don't want to do that, but I have to anyways. When you're with the team.
I know what you mean.
When they're like, hey, you go here, you go. You have no other choice. But now, if someone's like, hey, you go here, I'm like, fuck you, I'm staying here. So I got that choice now, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, I love my life now, man. To be honest, more so than when I was playing pro ball.
That's awesome, dude. That's great to hear. I definitely want to ask you this question because it sounds like it's completely true with you. Is it fair to say that you put everything you had into, trying to be the best baseball player you could be? Because it sounds like you fucking did everything you could.
I have no regrets. Let me tell you that. So again, like everyone kind of goes through, like, especially I was there for 6 years in pro ball. Like obviously, like I'm not gonna say I was like the hardest worker every single day or anything like that. But
it's hard to do. To be honest, but you put everything you had into it.
I don't think not many people can say that, But for me, like to be honest, like I've done what I had to do. Like I it's not like I'm not saying performance wise. Like I could have hit better or whatever. There could be other reasons, but I have no regrets, man, because I put in whatever effort I needed to put in. And of course, some things I could have done better or whatever, like I could have made better choices, but those things that you learn, like as you're aging, and now like I know those lessons, right? So that's why I'm trying to like preach those things when I say, hey, like, I'm on social media, I'm like, fuck everybody, like I'm not saying not just to be like a funny guy, but like for me, like that was a big thing, because when I went to pro ball, like my second year, I hit like 350. So I hit like really well, and I was a good catcher. I threw guys out, and as soon as I did that, like everyone's trying to like get a touch on me. All these coaches came out to me, hey, you should try this, try that, try that. So I'm trying to please all these guys. In the spring training, there's like 50 of them, and you're trying to listen to like 15, 20 of them at a time. Like your mind fucked. I'm not gonna blame them for my failures after that, but I'm just saying that I let that affect me.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm like, hey, fuck everybody, what I mean by that is, hey, like, do you, man. Like, you can't, don't lose yourself. Whatever other people say, fuck them, like, just do you, So, but I mean, overall, my career, I have no regrets. I'm very happy to experience what I had to experience, and what I'm doing now, to be honest, like, I love it. Yeah,
you do. You sound like you're super happy. I mean, you're working at the bar, you got your wife, you're moving down to Arizona soon, right?
I am, yeah. I'm leaving January 4th, so pretty soon.
That's awesome. That's good to hear, dude. A big question I like to ask everybody that comes on, this might be a little different for you. I usually ask guys around my age what they would tell 16-year-old them. But for you, like, if you could go back in time, give advice to whether it's 22-year-old Sim, 16-year-old Sim, whoever, what advice do you think you would tell yourself?
I think the same thing, man. Like, literally, like, fuck everybody, but not necessarily. I'm not saying not to be. That's for it.
It is funny. I know you're not saying it to be funny, but it is funny.
Like it is hilarious. Like, but because I live by that. I do all the shit I post. I don't give a fuck what other people think of me. Like I don't care. I really don't give a fuck. Like, and that's something I'd like to tell my younger version of me, because I used to try to please a lot of other people. I was kind of playing baseball to, either please the coaches or, please my parents or please your teammates or please your scouts that's watching you, please the coaches and pro ball, like all that shit, right? Like, and now thinking about it, like, fuck them, man. Like, I like them as human beings, but like, fuck you. This is my career. This is my choice, right? So that's something, again, I'm not saying that's like a thing that every kid should be, when parents like, hey, do this,
like, don't tell them.
Yeah, please don't do that. Like, I don't want to get fucking a death message from fucking Twitter, like that from parents. But you know what I'm saying? Like, overall, like, a lot of people fall for that, man. I actually learned that, like, the biggest turning point of thought process for me was my 4th year in pro ball. I was talking to a big leaguer, and then, like, I was in a cage, like, in spring training, and I was in a cage with, like, there was, like, 3 or 4 coaches, and then, like, they're all telling me different things, like, one's telling me this, one's telling me that, and then he was just, like, hitting on his own or whatever. He was rehabbing, and he was kind of just hitting just to get warmed up, whatever. And after the coaches left, I was about to leave, get my shit, and he just comes, like, hey, Simon, come here. I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, fuck him. He's just like, fuck everybody. I thought, I'm like, holy shit, like, this guy's a big leaguer, a successful big leaguer, it's like, he said that, I'm like, it really hit me though, right? And I was like, well, he's right, because, like, I'm trying to fucking do this, that, trying to please this person, but like I'm losing myself, and so I still feel like shit that year, but at the same time, like, I learned that lesson, I learned that lesson of, hey, like, fuck them, man. Fuck everybody else. And whatever you think is right, whatever you think is good for you, you got to do that, So
I struggled a little bit with that myself, actually, when we had the brief spring training we had. I'm like lower slot, 3/4 guy. And then one day at spring training, they were just like, all right, so we're going to change all of that completely. We're going to make you a sidearm guy. And I was like, wait, what are we talking about now? And I was like, I'll try it out, but I still felt super uncomfortable with it. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and I just, like, stopped training with it altogether. But like it was weird to be told like, hey, like you'd been doing good. Like I had a 3-something ERA last year. Like I was happy with myself. And they were like, no, we want to change everything now. And I was like, whoa. So, I mean, I'm not going to walk into spring training next year and be like, fuck you. Sim told me not to listen, but I'm,
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate that myself.
No, yeah, because to be honest, I've seen a lot of those cases, and I've caught myself in pro ball, and I've seen other pitchers go through. Myself went through that, and even when I started pitching, I went through that. So, man, to be honest, like one thing, because I have a lot of like pro guys that follow me and stuff like that too. And something I tell them is like, hey, like you got to find one guy. There are a lot of coaches in fucking, spring training and all that bullshit, like a lot of coordinators, all that shit. But you got to find one guy that you connect to, right?
Yeah.
And the one that understands you, that communicates you well, and the one that you agree with the most, right? And then just try to do that, and then don't lose yourself, and so. And it's not just you, man. It's not just me. It's everybody, especially like, because we are trying to make it. We're trying to please these guys to make it, right? Because, I mean, they have the power to move us up, and so we think that, but at the same time, they don't, they can't control you. They can't really make your career choices for you. At the end of the day, it's your career, no one else's, right? So that's something I'd like to say to a lot of, but I know what position you guys are in too, because I've been there.
There are bosses.
If you
it's
told
hard.
them to fuck off,
yeah.
Probably not. Like, they're not gonna. You're not gonna do that. I'm telling you right now. Unless you're a first rounder, for like $6 million, you're not gonna tell the coaches to fuck up and survive for a while, But like it just there's a fine line of that juggling piece, right? And trying to survive, and obviously when someone tells you to do something, I guess you have to do it. I've done that too, and then when they leave, just do what you were doing, so that's something I say for real.
Yeah, exactly. This is, dude, this has been fantastic. So when you got cut, originally from the Giants, what was kind of like the reaction? What was kind of like the thought process? Cause you went and played indie ball. Like you didn't let that be the end right there.
Right. It was tough, obviously, cause that's like, I got a call in November, off season. It was lucky and not lucky at the same time. Cause it was lucky because I had time to train and see if I wanted to keep doing it or get a shot or whatnot. And it was also bad because I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was like, oh, my career just literally ended.
It's world changing. Were you home for the
literally like I was home for the off season, and then literally like I get a call from a San Francisco number. I'm like, what the fuck? Like no one calls me from that. And then I knew it. I was like, fuck. And I kind of saw myself as well too, like I was a 25-year-old right-handed reliever throwing 92 to 94. Like I get that, it's not, I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, when you get the call, you get the shock, your body's just kind of fuck, and it's like, oh shit, okay, I gotta answer. So I actually messed up first one because I didn't know what to do. Like there are a million thought processes that you go through. Really, like you've never been released yet.
No, I haven't. I got a phone call the other day from a number, and it said, hey, this is like so-and-so from the Pirates. And I went, no, there's no way. Like it all like rushed over me. And I was like, all right, no, I'm probably fine. And I called him back and he was like, hey, just want to see how the offseason is going. I was like, oh, all right, fuck.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. No. Like, but when it's time, like I knew it. And like at first call was hilarious. Cause like looked at it, it was like, I just looked at it. I'm like, the shock. And I'm like million thoughts going through. I'm like, what am I going to say? Like, what are they going to say? So I didn't answer. Called again. I was like, fuck. And I was like, all right, let's answer it. So I was like, hey, like, and obviously they all say the same shit when they release you. It's like, hey, we have no room for you. We enjoyed having you, all that bullshit or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it was basically that. And my career was over in my 6-year pro career was over in like 10-minute call. And after that, I called my buddy, Derek Florco, who's from my town and who's super close to me. I'm like, hey, like what should we do? Like I don't really have, like, I could just be done with it now or see if I can, go somewhere, still,
Yeah.
So that day we drove down to Driveline, which for me to drive from Canada to drive down to Driveline, it's like 3-hour drive and then 3-hour drive back. And we did that. We went there and then fucking kept on training. We went there once a week after that and then kept on training. And then I ended up throwing, this was a while ago. So this was when throwing 95 off the mound was a big deal. Like now a lot of dudes do that, because
it's still a big deal. It's still
a lot of 95 is still a big deal, but like a lot more guys throw that now, like overall. back then, like when I was training, like there was like maybe 3 or 4 guys out of Driveline that was throwing 95, you know, and I was one of them, you know, so I got a chance to do that. As soon as I hit 95 on the mound, it was like in February or something like that. And Kyle blew me up on Twitter, and I got an indie ball contract like a week after that, you know. So to go to American Association, which is a pretty good indie ball team too. And I was there. I was fortunate, right? And then I kept on training, and then I went there in May for spring training. I survived spring training, and then after like a month or so, like I got released because I was in indie ball. Like, so your goals are different now, because in indie ball you're trying to get back to affiliated. And to get back into affiliated, you know what you gotta do. You gotta blow noise, man. It doesn't matter what you put up. You know, they're dudes, you know, throwing 0.6 ERA, but it doesn't matter if you're not throwing gas. You know, like so you're not gonna go anywhere. You can like in indie ball, man, like you can put up a 0 ERA for fucking 30 innings, but if you fucking throw 86, you ain't gonna get signed. You're just not gonna get signed. It doesn't matter how nasty you are. So I was like, I went there. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna blow fucking noise. I'm gonna try to throw 100 or fucking get the fuck out. And I'm trying to go back to affiliated, right? And so I was walking a lot of dudes because I was just trying to just like let it.
You were out there. You were out there to throw hard. You weren't there to win a game.
I was not there to pitch. I was there.
Yeah, you're there to throw. Just, like, that's a better way to put it. 100,
get it out to see that, and hell, let's sign this guy. You know. So, again, I did that, and I got rid of that, and then I drove down to Driveline after that too, and then I kept on training until the season end, and then after that I was like, dude, man, I'm fucking done. Like I was mentally exhausted too.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
What I've been through, and it's been a long journey, right? So I was like, all right, that's time, and then I went home, and then I took over this bar, and then I've been working this since.
Good, man. That's good. What velo did you end up getting up to? What was the hardest you've ever thrown?
97. I got up to 97 in indie ball. 97. Okay. So that's my top. And then Driveline, I hit like 96 point something or whatever. So like 96.
You think you're gonna be able to beat that again? You think you're gonna touch 8?
Dude, like that's a plan right now. I'm actually seriously though, like I'm pretty surprised that I actually got up to 95. To be honest,
dude, it's
like,
awesome.
Like,
it's
I
awesome.
Believed it, but you know, I believed it. You know, I could do it. You know, I never doubted that. Like even like within 151 days, the journey I was sharing, like I never doubted myself. At the same time, like was I surprised? Yes, because 95 like is no fucking joke. You know, and you know when you throw it, when I threw that, like I knew that was gas. You know, I was like fuck, and then 95 popped up. Great feeling. And now like the goal is 100, but you know, it's everyone's like, oh, you're gonna hit 100 next year. I'm like, motherfucker, like this. Me going from like 85 to like 95 took me forever, you know, of a lot of hard work.
And then
go from this to 100, I've never done before. That's something I've never done before, so it's gonna take even longer, you know. But I'm up for the challenge, and you know, kind of guy I am. Like I don't really give a fuck, you know. I just want to see how far I can take this, you know, for myself because I enjoy the process. I enjoy training, so. Yeah,
that's awesome that you enjoy training this much. Do you think that would it something realistic that you would want to do is like one day like indie ball like contracts thing? Like if you saw you know Marty Mush over at Barstool?
Yeah.
He did a like one day contract with the Jacksonville or the Jackals, the New Jersey Jackals up here by me in the Northeast. Would you ever like want to do something like that?
No, to be honest,
I would definitely love to have you.
Yeah, like I'd like a lot of people reach out like on social media too, like not like
really
not like a professional contract or anything, but like hey, like play in a team setting, like there's some like good like men's league that take it super serious or whatever, but for me, man, like I don't train to be good at a team or compete in a team setting. Do I miss that? Yeah, I miss being around the boys. Like in college,
that's one of the best
I really miss college because college is the best because like those are like your homies, like your bros, right? You go trenches with, right? And do I miss that setting? Yes, of course. But for me, like I'm not doing this shit for other people or trying to, you know, contribute to a team's winning or whatever. I'm not trying to do that shit. I'm doing this purely for my enjoyment. I just want to have fun. This is fun for me. I like pushing my body. You know, you see my lifting. I lift heavy shit.
You throw some
I might break.
around.
You know, who knows? I might yeah, I might get hurt. Who knows? But I'm not afraid for that. I'm not afraid to take that risk, right? So again, like I'm not really trying this to. I'm not doing this to make a pro bowl or even like a fun day contract. That's not fun for me. For me, if I was gonna do that, I'd rather spend that day for another velo day. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather like, use that energy to do a velo myself. You know, like so. Am I selfish? Maybe, but I mean that's who I am. So.
No, dude, I mean, like, it's like you said, like, numerous times already, it's fuck everybody else. Like, you're doing what you want to do. You love training. You love throwing hard. You love throwing things in general. I've loved that whole Twitter storm, by the way, too, that just throwing stuff is fun. It is fun. And I think that just kind of speaks to who you are. It's fuck everybody else. I'm doing this for fun.
100%, man. Again, like, I'm not saying everyone's got to be like me, but, like, for me, I'm just saying, like, because since I've been doing this, like the whole Project 95 or Die or just training for myself, like I'm enjoying baseball more, man. Like I really am because like it's hard to explain. Like before, like of course, like I always played baseball because I enjoyed it and I was good at it, you know, and I like being on a team setting, stuff like that, of course. But like I'm not even joking you, baseball has been like the most fun this last like a year and a half or 2 years. This has been the most fun I've ever had playing baseball ever. You know, I got a job now. Like I work a regular job. I make decent money or whatever. Nope. Like if someone's like, hey, I'm gonna give you someone asked me this. If they offer you a big league contract, a $500,000 contract,
I saw you tweeting about this. Yeah.
I literally thought about it for 1 second. I said no because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose what I'm doing, you know, the fun that I'm having here to make it more work. You know, of course, would that be the dream for everybody else? Sure. Not for me. Like, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I got a good job. You know, obviously, when I moved to Arizona, I'll have to find a new job. I'm fine with that, you know, but I just want to I want to start a family. I want to be a regular dude, but I'm doing this for me. This is my fucking, you know, when I'm lifting or throwing, this is my shit, you know, like, so no money can buy that. So like, why would I sacrifice all this fun I'm having for money? Like I make good money. Fuck you. You know, I don't I don't need $500,000. I'm chilling, man. I got fine, you know, so.
You're good. Yeah, dude, you're good. Something a lot of people don't realize is like how much of the year that like playing a full season takes. Like my first full year of pro ball, I got there like February 20th to spring training to be a hardo and show up early. You know, spring training runs through. We end up going through the whole year. And then it was like August, like 28th. And then our last series got canceled because I was down in the Florida State League. A hurricane hit and the last 3 games were canceled. And we all started jumping up and down because we're all so happy it was over. Sad part is that that's the last time we had a baseball game was when we were all happy that 3 more got canceled. So it's been a weird way to like look back at that, but like still, it's a long year. It's a long season. It's tough to get through all that.
It's a lot of people don't know that. That's why I'm trying to speak out a little more because it's a little bit easier to relate when I've done it. You know, it's just like people don't know. Like I've done exactly what you've done. Because I was from Canada, like Giants would actually offer me to come early to catch bullpens for like rehabbers and stuff like that, and they'll pay me just like so they'll give me meal money. But I took that because I don't want to stay in Canada. I had no like nice facility or anything like that, so I want to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible. So Giants were like, hey, come catch bullpens for like rehabbers. I was catching like fucking everybody, you know, like just and I'll go down there, catch pens, and they'll give me $20 meal money. They got me a hotel room. I'm cool. So I'll actually go there like for 3 years. I went there like February 1st, like early February. One time I think I did like a late January, like, but I was fine with that.
And then you got invited instructs at the end of the year.
Dude, it was like a fucking not like a 10 months a year. It was ridiculous, you know, like, but
it's insane.
I did it because like, at the time, like I didn't know what it was, right? And you just go through it and you're like, fuck, you know, it's a long fucking season and nobody really knows what you go through. Even within the season itself, it's a roller coaster ride, right? It's not like you're fucking having
you have good weeks, bad weeks, just
right. That's what people like. It's like, oh, you know, you're having fun playing baseball. No, dude. Like when you're playing when you're playing with professional athletes that are all good as fuck, it's gonna be like this, you know, like
Yeah.
so because everyone's there to compete, right? So unless you're fucking super special, you're not gonna be just like this 24/7. No one does, you know. So and people don't know the shit you guys go through, you know, like from everything, you know, like eating, sleeping, whatever, you know. So so yeah, again, I'm just trying to advocate a little more for you guys, and hopefully things change. And the change is happening right now is not to my liking. Kings is dumb. Like they cut a bunch of fucking you guys already, you know, during COVID. They're cutting down rounds and all the bullshit.
They're cutting teams.
They're giving you that's the thing that pisses me off. They're giving us a raise, but you guys are actually getting fucked more. I'm actually gonna make a video about this pretty soon. Like you guys are actually in a worse position now than you were like when I was playing, because even though you guys got a pay raise, the whole system's fucked now. You know, like so with all these, I think Futures League and all that bullshit they got.
Yeah, I don't really like a lot of the stuff they're doing. It's just them getting more of a monopoly on baseball, which is dangerous, I think. But then, so like they gave us this pay raise, and then they cut all these teams. And I'm pretty sure if you like did the math and look at it, you guys
lost. No, you guys.
They pay us collectively less now.
Dude, any kid can do the math right now. I'm gonna do the math. I'm gonna make a thorough video on this pretty soon. It's dude, you guys have actually lost because you guys have no voice. No one's there to protect you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are some other advocate for minor leaguers, and
those guys are amazing. Yeah, Garrett Brocious is an awesome guy.
There are a lot of organizations now that are getting bigger to speak for you guys, which is awesome. But they still don't have power to make any changes for you guys, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's something that again MLBPA hopefully takes over at some point. But we'll see, you know. But at the end of the day, you guys have lost because there are less jobs for you now. Even though you guys got a little bit of pay raise, you got less jobs, less drafts. So you get like future kids have less opportunities. Like you guys are fucked. Less teams, so like they're gonna carry less players. Like it's fucked, you know. But again, like hopefully the shit changes at some point.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully. I can't thank you enough for coming on this, man. You're the best. You got any just throw out your social media tags just so people can find you if they haven't followed you already.
Man, I don't give a fuck. If you want to follow me, you'll find me. All right? If you're listening to this, if you want to follow me, you fucking will find a way. All right?
You'll find a way.
Tell you my tag. Oh, you'll fucking find a way. If you don't want to, I don't give a fuck. All right? So whatever. But yeah, no. Thanks for having me on, dude. It was a lot of fun. So.
Appreciate it, dude. Thank you again. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. That was fantastic to talk to Eric Sim. He's one of the best. He's an awesome guy, and I think something that's really important that people might kind of lose when they worry about baseball is, being good and talented. He's a good and talented player, and he's still talented if he's getting up to 95, which is incredible. But most of all, like, he's a great person, which is probably more important than being a good baseball player. I've played with a lot of guys. I've played with some really talented ones, some not so talented ones. I've played with some really good people and some not so good people. It's most important to be a good person, and I think he is the epitome of that. He's a great dude. He's been a great teammate throughout his whole life, and he clearly shows it by still trying to give back and do as much as he can. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for next week when we bring on the next guest. And then also don't hesitate at all to go back and look at older podcasts if you're new to this show. This will be the 12th episode. We've got another 10 episodes that are fantastic to go check out. Great interviews, great guys. And I, again, encourage everyone to reach out to me. Tell me what they want to hear about. I'm going to start doing more outreach and try to get more in touch with the fans to see what you guys want to be talked about on this show and talked on the podcast. And again, thank you everyone for listening to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, leave a like on YouTube, whatever it may be. All right. And until next week, have a good one, guys.